Okay, hello everyone. This is assignment 12, part 1. I am redoing it because apparently I hit my microphone button and the previous one did not record. So we are doing it again. I had a lovely first video. It was amazing. And it was 8 minutes of you not being able to hear what I was saying. So technology, gotta love it. So I think you can hear this one and we will try this again. This is part 1 of assignment 12. This is the classification part of the text mining in Orange. First thing I want to show you is kind of some of the steps that I took in Orange that were incorrect. The big problem that I was having the first time that I ran this through was with the really the pre-processing the text and the select columns. So as you can see, everything's working pretty well now. The corpus for this corpus viewer, we're looking at the train file. You can look right here and see that these are our 900 reviews. And again, this is the unsupervised learning piece. So this is the one where there are no labels. We're trying to see how well Orange can predict what these reviews are, positive or negative, if we take out the labels. So again, this is the unsupervised model. And then you have the corpus viewer down here that's looking at our sample size, which are 100 reviews randomly taken out from the larger sample. So 1,000 reviews total. This is our sample size, and then our 900 are up there for the ones that we were looking at. The big thing that I was running into with this happened in the pre-processing, but I didn't realize that it was happening in pre-processing. I was struggling with the predictions and the test score. So when I would look at the test score initially, right now it's correct at about 85%. What was happening before is it was at about 50% and it was throwing off everything. So when I would look at predictions, they were all wrong. Not all of them, but I would say that probably 45 to 50% of them were wrong. And I couldn't figure out why, what I had done incorrectly. What tipped me off at first was the nomogram. So if you look at our nomogram here, you've got a lot of different word variations that come up repeatedly. There was only 2 for me, so it was food and good. And that was it. And so I couldn't figure out what was happening. It seemed like there was some kind of filter that was on that was taking the rest out, but I couldn't immediately figure out where those were. It definitely wasn't in the logistic regression, but I would go here to the select columns, and food and place were the only 2 that it would allow me to look at. So our target variable, which was liked, was in the right spot. But again, the features were just food and place, not the tons and tons of other words that should have been in there to help it classify correctly. So I started working backwards, eventually got to the pre-processing the text piece. I was pretty sure that these were default settings that didn't change, but for whatever reason, when I initially inputted this, this bottom box down here was checked for document frequency, and that was filtering out the majority of our words. And so it was really, really throwing off our prediction over here. Again, wasn't even close to the right model. So took a while to get that figured out, but once I did, things seem to work out better. Again, Orange was telling us that it's running at about an 85% positive prediction rate for positive or negative review within the logistic regression based on the 1 or 0 that people put. I went through this list of 100 and I manually looked at every single one of them. And I got about an 81%. There's 100 reviews, 81 it correctly predicted, and 19 it didn't. So what we know is that as long as it's above 70%, it's doing really well. And so to be at 81%, that 4% difference between what Orange is telling us it's doing, which it may be if you took a larger sample size, right? We just had 100, there's 900 more to look at. It could very well have pushed it up to that 85% when you looked at the rest of them. So maybe it more accurately predicted the rest of the 900 and bumped up that percentage, which is a good possibility. But this is so much better than chance that it's reliable. And that's what we wanted to check here, was to see whether this model would give us a reliable prediction for reviews so that we can shortcut some of the work that we would have to do in reviewing this data, right? Bag of words, we didn't change at all. The viewer and obviously those things stay the same. Again, the nomogram was the thing that was tipping me off in the beginning that something wasn't right. And so that was nice that I was able to look at kind of what was going on there in the nomogram and find that out. So I think overall, this was definitely a successful model. It'll be interesting to see when we do the sentiment analysis next time, how correctly it predicts based on this, because 85% is pretty good. You know, I'm definitely happy with that. I think if you're somewhere between an 85 and a 90 with this type of model and this type of system that you're using, it's pretty darn good. So I will be back with part 2 of assignment 12 next, and we will look at how the sentiment analysis did and its predictions, but I think this first part for classification was a pretty good overall success. So, except for me not having my microphone on the first time I was recording. So hopefully the second video records, but that'll be part 1, and we'll do part 2 here shortly.